Hi everyone, we're Mike and Tess Play, and welcome back to our What If Pokemon series. So far, we have covered both the Johto and Hoenn regions, and today we are continuing our journey across the generations by heading to the mountains of the Sinnoh region.
Now, for this region, we will be changing the Gym Leader and Elite Four member teams to include Sinnoh-native Pokemon, but we will be using the original Diamond and Pearl games as our guide, including the expanded decks from other Sinnoh games would basically just result in a Team Season and Platinum version, so let's just focus on the original Gen 4 lineups.
Now to start us off with the rules, we can only switch to Pokemon who fit the Gym Leader / Elite Four member style, prioritizing type if it is possible given the limits of the region.
Next, we can only change to Pokemon from the Sinnoh region for Gym Leaders. For the Elite Four who have their own challenges, we can go beyond the region to fill in the blanks.
Changes must maintain the same relative difficulty for that specific trainer. This is for the team overall, not individual changes.
Next, not all Pokemon have to be changed, even if they are not from the current generation.
Finally, starter Pokemon may be used to construct new teams, but only if all 3 starter Pokemon lines can be included in the new teams, and only once per starter evolution line.
So, with the rules all settled, let's find out who the Sinnoh trainers would use if they actually trained Sinnoh Pokemon.
Up first is Rook, the rock-type expert and underground explorer. His original team included Geodude, Onix, and Cranidos. Geodude and Onix are non-Sinnoh.
So, for Rook, it's an interesting challenge because there are the rock-type Pokemon to fill things in, but it might not seem right. The first switch, trading out Geodude for Bonsly, is definitely a fitting one. Bonsly is a pure rock-type Pokemon from the Sinnoh region, so that's an easy switch. Interestingly, Geodude and Bonsly actually have the same attack power, so I just thought that was kind of cool. The other one, though, trading out Onix for the other Sinnoh-native rock-type Rook doesn't have, Shieldon, might be a little bit confusing because, well, Shieldon is the base form of Rook's father's ace Pokemon, but I think it makes a lot of sense because it keeps the Rook has the baby form and his father has the evolved form that they originally had with Onix and Steelix, and since Rook isn't going to be using Onix anymore because I want to give him a Sinnoh team, it just makes sense. Besides, Shieldon can learn Stealth Rock and has the defenses to live a hit to get that up, which is pretty much all his Onix did in the first place. And then, of course, he keeps his Cranidos because, he's Rourke. He needs the Cranidos.
Moving up north to Eterna is the grass-type gym leader, Gardenia. Her original team is Cherubi, Turtwig, and Roserade.
They're all Sinnoh Pokemon. They're all Grass-type Pokemon. There are no changes that need to be made to Gardenia. She might be an easy gym leader, but she's a perfectly well-constructed one.
Skirting across the region to Veilstone, we have Melina, the fighting-type specialist. Her original team is Meditite, Machoke, Lucario. Meditite and Machoke are not from Sinnoh.
So, for Melina, the most obvious switch, the easy switch, is switching out Meditite for Croagunk, the fighting-type Pokemon from the Sinnoh region, who for some reason is not on her team whatsoever. Machoke, however, there's really only one switch that makes sense here, since I'm trying not to give the gym leaders the ace Pokemon of Team Galactic members, well, Team Galactic commanders and Cyrus. So the only real Pokemon that can be switched out for Machoke is Riolu, and I actually think it fits Melina. It makes her more of a Lucario specialist because she's keeping her Lucario ace, but Riolu has a different style that's not just all power, and Melina's kind of about that. She likes to train her Pokemon to be tough in certain situations, but she's not just all about power. And Riolu's interesting playstyles kind of fit her strategy. It makes her arguably a little weaker on that end, but Croagunk is tougher than Meditite at this stage of the game, so her team evens out and is about the same as it was. Plus, now you can't just walk in with any random flying type and expect to... you still kind of can, but still.
Now for everyone's favorite wrestling water-type gym leader, Crasher Wake. His original team is Gyarados, Quagsire, and Floatzel. Gyarados and Quagsire are not from Sinnoh.
Alright, there's a super easy switch here. The easiest switch ever. Quagsire swaps out for Gastrodon, and we're going to give Crasher Wake the East style of Gastrodon, because he tends to like blue Pokemon, so why not give him the blue Gastrodon? The thing is that the Gastrodon is stronger than Quagsire. It has better stats overall, which means we have to switch down from Gyarados a little bit. Which means that since Turtwig is on Gardenia's team, we're giving him Prinplup. Yes, this puts all 3 starter lines in somewhere in the Gym Leader / Elite Four members teams, and Prinplup, Gastrodon, and Floatzel make a good, purely Sinnoh water-type team that all fit Wake's personality pretty well.
In the center of the region, Fantina, the ghost expert, is next on the list. Her original team was Drifblim, Gengar, and Mismagius. Gengar is non-Sinnoh.
So for Fantina, switching, she's keeping her Drifblim and Magius, however you say that Pokemon's name, is an obvious pick. But to swap out Gengar, the non-Sinnoh Pokemon, there are 2 options for ghost types left in the Sinnoh region from the Sinnoh region. The first one we're going to hold off on because he fits better on another trainer's team later on. And Fantina's issue in Diamond and Pearl has always been that as the 5th gym leader, she really doesn't have much going for her. She's not a threat at that point in the game. In Platinum, obviously, that changes. But since this is Diamond and Pearl, we're going to give her a bit of a challenge in Spiritomb. Spiritomb is not stronger than Gengar, so it's kind of the same thing. But the Pokemon without a weakness being on the 5th gym leader's team, I like it. I think it actually fits for Fantina.
Now we move along to Byron, Steel-type Master and Rourke's father. His original team was Bronzor, Steelix, and Bastodon. Steelix is non-Sinnoh.
Byron, just like Fantina, only has 1 non-Sinnoh Pokemon to swap out, and since Rourke no longer has Onix and does have Shieldon, so they have the father-son Shieldon-Bastiodon combo, we're going to switch out his Steelix for the only Steel-type Pokemon who isn't a signature of another trainer already and isn't already on his team. That's Wormadam in its Steel-type form. Yes, I don't know why this was never utilized, but Wormadam is a Bug-Steel Pokemon from the Sinnoh region, and since it's a defensive Pokemon, I think it fits Byron's team really well. It also removes his Water-type weakness a little bit, so I like it as a fit for his team.
To the freezing north, the Ice-type specialist, Candice. Her original team, Snover, Sneasel, Medicham, and Abomasnow. Sneasel and Medicham are not from Sinnoh.
For Candice, this is going to be a strange one. Medicham is on her team kind of as a coverage for her fighting-type weakness, because there aren't enough Ice-type Pokemon in Sinnoh. I'm going to keep the Ice types that she has on her team, Snover, Sneasel, and Abomasnow, even though Sneasel isn't a Sinnoh Pokemon. However, he does have an evolution, which is a Sinnoh Pokemon, and since Weavile is Cyrus's, I guess, ace Pokemon, at least it is in his final battle, then I'm not going to give her Weavile. Sneasel's sticking around because he does have that Sinnoh connection, and there's really not a lot of Ice-type Pokemon to go for in Diamond and Pearl Sinnoh. So instead of having the Medicham, who doesn't fit her personality and doesn't fit her typing at all, I'm going to go with another Pokemon who can use an Ice-type move, and who can cover one of her primary weaknesses. I'm going to give her Lumineon. Lumineon is a more defensive Pokemon, and Candice is not exactly known for having good defenses, so it kind of helps her team, but it also fits her personality. She's very bubbly, and Lumineon has the bubbles and resists fire. So she now has an actual answer to fire-type Pokemon. So it's a bit of an odd change because it's not to her own type, but it's a necessary one to give her another Sinnoh Pokemon.
And with that, we arrive in the Sunny Shore City with the electric-type gym leader, Volkner. His original team, Raichu, Ambipom, Octillery, and Luxray. Raichu and Octillery are not from Sinnoh.
With Volkner, he is another trainer who's kind of famed for not having too many Pokemon of his own type. But it's actually the non-Sinnoh ones who we're going to be switching out here. We're actually going to trade out Raichu for the Sinnoh version of a Pika clone, Pachirisu. He's actually not a bad lead Pokemon for an electric-type gym leader because he's an annoying Pokemon. So he's not totally vulnerable like Raichu pretty much is here. He's actually going to keep his Ambipom as a Sinnoh-native Pokemon who's capable of learning electric-type moves. It actually fits on his team. So I like it as a part of his team in a region known for not having all Pokemon of the specialty type. Luxray is obviously staying as his Ace-type Pokemon, but For an Octillery replacement, he has Octillery kind of to counter his ground weakness. But there's an electric-type Pokemon in the Sinnoh region who's immune to ground-type moves, and I think fits his team better. That Pokemon is Rotom, the original form of Rotom, since that's all that's available in Diamond and Pearl. And even though Rotom isn't available to be caught by the player until the post-game, it's not a particularly devastating Pokemon. It's a decent one, but not a super powerful one. However, it fits Volkner's style exactly, and having an end-game trainer with a traditionally post-game Pokemon doesn't really ring any, this isn't fair bells, because it happens. There are trainers with Pokemon who aren't available to the player all the time. And having one do so after you've encountered a legendary Pokemon isn't exactly a stretch. So, his new team is all Sinnoh and more electric than it was.
That leaves the original teams with 14 Sinnoh Pokemon and 12 non-Sinnoh Pokemon. The new teams have 25 Sinnoh Pokemon and only one non-Sinnoh Pokemon, but Sneasel does have a Sinnoh evolution.
As we head now to the Elite Four, things in Sinnoh are a bit different here. Most of the Elite Four specialty types do not have enough Sinnoh Pokemon to fill in the gaps, but we can still give them more Sinnoh-based teams that perhaps better fit their styles of battle, while using moves of their specialty type when we can.
Let's start with the first Sinnoh Elite Four member, Bugmaster Aaron. His original team, Dustox, Heracross, Vespiquen, Beautyfly, and Drapion. Dustox, Heracross, and Beautyfly are not from Sinnoh, and Drapion is not a bug type.
So for Aaron, whose team is early game super easily beaten bugs, Vespiquen, Heracross, and, well, a non-bug type, there's not a lot of ways to fix Aaron in Diamond and Pearl. So we're basically just giving him the Sinnoh bugs. We're going to be giving him Kricketune to replace Dustox, Wormadam Grass to replace Heracross, and yes, I'm aware nothing can replace Heracross, but it's another Pokemon with a ×4 weakness to a traditional bug weakness, and Aaron's not going to be tough no matter what you do with him. Keeping the Vespiquen, Queen, however you say it, and then Mothim will replace the Beautyfly since, well, it's a bug flying type. He will be keeping Drapion. It's the only thing that has a little bit of a bite on his team, and it was a bug type Pokemon in its first evolution, and it's from Sinnoh. So even though it's not his specialty, it learns bug moves, and it fits here.
Up second is the venerated Bertha, the ground type master. Her original team is Quagsire, Sudowoodo, Whiscash, Golem, and Hippowdon. Only Hippowdon is Sinnoh, Sudowoodo is non-ground.
So for Bertha, again, we're kind of going into an odd well in that we're going to be switching out most of the non-Sinnoh Pokemon, but we can't switch out all of them because there aren't the ground types to go around without including someone who doesn't belong on anyone's team but the champion. So for Bertha's team, we're going to be swapping out. The obvious one is Whiscash for Gastrodon, and we'll give her the West Gastrodon because Wake took the East one. Now, Quagsire, as her lead, isn't exactly all that tough, so we can switch it out for the not all that tough Wormadam ground type this time. And yes, we've used all 4 of Burmese possible evolutions because it's a versatile Pokemon who's actually not that bad, and it fits on her team here as a Sinnoh-native ground type. She's actually going to keep the Sudowoodo. Even though it's not of her team, ground and rock type trainers have traditionally kind of gone back and forth on what their specialty is, and since Sudowoodo does have Bonsly as the Sinnoh connection, I'm not really comfortable replacing it with anything else. Hippowdon, or Hippowdon, however you say that one, there's so many of those in Sinnoh. Hippowdon is staying as her semi-ace Pokemon who she sometimes brings out sooner because of Sandstream, because there's no Pokemon who can replace it in the Sinnoh decks. The Golem, however, is not a Sinnoh-based Pokemon whatsoever. I mean, Geodude is in a lot of regions, but he doesn't really fit on her team here. So instead, we're bringing in a different non-Sinnoh Pokemon, Steelix. And there's actually reasoning behind this. It's not just that Steelix is a ground-type Pokemon, but it's that in the Sinnoh region in Iron Island, Steelix is the first... Well, It's the first time that you're able to actually catch a Steelix. Everywhere else before this, you had to evolve them with a metal coat from an Onyx. So this being the first region where you can naturally catch Steelix, I feel like he has a connection to the region, much more so than Golem does. So I'm giving him to Bertha as a little bit of a variety, Sinnoh-ish style.
The third infamous fire/non-fire master, Flint. His original team is Rapidash, Steelix, Lopunny, Drifloon, and Infernape. Rapidash and Steelix are not from Sinnoh. Steelix, Lopunny, and Drifloon are non-fire.
Alright, Flint, here we go. I know that there are only 2 Fire-type Pokemon available in the original Sinnoh decks. I know that you used them both on your team, and of course Rapidash and Infernape are sticking around. There's no way I'm swapping out one of the only 2 fire types you have. However, I can switch out the 2 other members of your team because they don't really fit the fire type mold. I'm going to make Flint a Sunny Day trainer. Using Pokemon who can use fire type moves and can benefit from Sunny Day in some way. So, the easy switch is swapping out Steelix for Cherim, the grass-type Pokemon who has an ability based specifically around, well, sunny weather. So I feel like it matches his team. It gives him a counter to both water and ground-type Pokemon. And, well, it's sunny and Flint is all happy and stuff. So Cherim fits on his team very nicely. Lopunny can actually stick around for one reason and one reason only. It has poofy hair, and so does Flint, and there's not a lot of other options, so Lopunny can have Fire Punch and stick around. Finally, switching out the Drifloon, even though it's a Sinnoh-native Pokemon, it doesn't really fit Flint's style whatsoever. But bringing in Skuntank, who, while I'm aware, was a Team Galactic Ace Pokemon, but that was only for gym leaders. The Elite Four members can have Galactic people all they want, but Skuntank is a Pokemon from the Sinnoh region who learns Flamethrower naturally in its moveset. It's one of the very few Sinnoh-based Pokemon who learn a Fire-type move. So I feel like it fits his team to have just a Pokemon who can learn a Fire-type move on its own without any help. So that means his team is still not totally from Sinnoh and still only has 2 Fire-type Pokemon, but it has a more Sunny Day / fire move based strategy around it.
This brings us to the 4th and final Elite Four member, Lucian, the Psychic Master. His original team is Mr. Mime, Girafarig, Medicham, Alakazam, Bronzong. Only Bronzong is Sinnoh.
Okay, so Lucian is he has actually perfect Pokemon for his type, but only one Sinnoh-native Pokemon. He's going to actually keep Mr. Mime because it has a Sinnoh connection and fits his style, which is primarily defense. Lucian is a more defensive trainer. He's keeping Medicham as his only form of offense, and because I kind of feel bad about switching out Medicham a couple other times in this list. And of course, Bronzong remains his ace Pokemon. That means we're switching out Girafarig and Alakazam, and we're switching them out for more defensive Sinnoh Pokemon, or at least Sinnoh-connected Pokemon. The first of these is a normal type with a Sinnoh evolutionary connection who fits Lucian's style and can learn Psychic-type moves. I'm giving him Blissey on his team. It fits his, like I said, it fits his defensive style, it fits his odd battling nature, and it actually works a lot better than Girafarig here because it can learn psychic moves and tank special moves like nobody's business. Finally, replacing his Alakazam, which I'm aware it's an Alakazam, how can you take it from a psychic leader or expert? But I think Drifblim actually fits him better here. It's a more defensive Pokemon with a weird moveset capabilities, and he can use it to great effect along with the rest of his more defensive team. So I know that now his team is less psychic than it was, but it is slightly more Sinnoh than it was too, and it has good synergy. And I feel like that's an important thing in an Elite Four known for not having all Pokemon of one type.
And finally, we come to the Sinnoh League's champion, the multi-type researcher, Cynthia. Her original team is Spiritomb, Gastrodon, Roserade, Milotic, Lucario, and Garchomp. Milotic is not from Sinnoh.
Okay, Cynthia is basically perfect. We all know that Cynthia is the toughest champion of probably any game, and I don't even think that's much of a controversial statement. So most of her team is sticking as is. There's no way I'm taking away the no weakness Spiritomb as her lead, Garchomp, obviously, and Lucario is another obvious one here to stay. I think Roserade also fits very well on her team, which means switching out either the Gastrodon or the Milotic. Now, this is an interesting one. Milotic is not from Sinnoh, but it's the one I'm keeping around, primarily because Gastrodon doesn't make any sense for Cynthia type-wise. We've already seen Gastrodon 2 times now in this new setup, and it being a water-ground type means that it has commonalities with 2 other Pokemon on our team. Now, Milotic actually stays not because of this, but because of its, it fits Cynthia better. Cynthia is a researcher. She finds a Milotic because it's the rarest Pokemon in all of Sinnoh, and Cynthia spends her time going around Sinnoh researching myths, going through Mount Coronet. It makes sense that she would have found the toughest Pokemon to find in the region and added it to her team. So I think it fits really well. So replacing Gastrodon, who doesn't really fit her, I think makes a lot of sense. And how to replace it, but with the one type that makes sense for a trainer who travels a lot that she doesn't have. She needs a flying type. And obviously she gets it in Platinum, where again they swapped out the Gastrodon for a Togekiss, but with Togekiss not available, we need a dangerous flying type Pokemon who's native to the Sinnoh region. Why not Staraptor? Staraptor is an amazing Pokemon, even though it's an early game Pokemon, but Staraptor totally fits her team. It's dangerous, it's strong, and it gives her a flying type, which means Cynthia, who hops around the region, can actually fly from place to place. Fits her team a lot, and I really like it as a replacement, and even though your rival uses one too, I wouldn't exactly call it his signature Pokemon, so it's going to work on Cynthia's team here, especially since she is known to use many Pokemon from other teams, regardless. And that brings the Elite Four/Champion teams from an original total of 12 Sinnoh Pokemon and 14 non-Sinnoh Pokemon to a new team total of 19 Sinnoh Pokemon and 7 non-Sinnoh Pokemon, with a little bit more synergy, both Sinnoh-wise and trainer style-wise, for the non-type specialty Pokemon. So that is how we would reconstruct the Sinnoh region to actually use Sinnoh Pokemon. Would you do anything different? Please let us know your changes, and also be sure to hit subscribe so we know you would want to see more in this series. There are still 4 more regions to go, and maybe even a trip to Hisui with the launch of Pokemon Legends Arceus this weekend, so stay tuned if you want more Pokemon theories in the future.